You know, sorry for the brief interruptions. You know, our people have gone through a lot. Fellow brothers and sisters back home, I can assure you that we are together in this business. We are together in this business. We have asked La Republique to back off out of the Southern Cameroon territory. We have asked La Republique to back off. And those who choose to behave like citizens, that they choose to embrace La Republique, we have asked you, October 1st is the deadline. October 1st. And this is a very clear warning to those individuals. If you have your relative that is serving La Republique, please let the person leave La Republique, because we are going to go after those individuals. If you have your relatives that is serving La Republique, it doesn't, if the person is working for private agency, working for those, that is not a problem. But those who bear the identity of the people of Ambazonia, that are working with La Republique with the conditions that they believe they have an attachment of the people of Ambazonia to the neighboring country La Republique, we are asking you simple. Leave La Republique. You can choose to leave and go to La Republique, but do not have any relationship that you are standing and speaking on behalf of the people of Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroon territory. This is a clear message. Understand it, act upon it, or you ignore it, because action will not be compromised. Our action will not be compromised. We have asked those in the parliamentarian, whatever, why I brought in the word benevolent neutrality. Benevolent neutrality, how did it happen? It happened because the elected officials of the Federal Republic of Ambazonian at the time was Southern Cameroon or West Cameroon, whatever you call it, that you feel comfortable. The people stood firmly. They informed the Nigerian authority and the British administration that they will choose to remain separate from the Nigeria. And Nigerian authority did not invade the people of Southern Cameroon. Nigerian authority did not declare war on the people of Southern Cameroon. Nigerian authority simply recognizing the people's wishes. And that was a block benevolent neutrality. And so we are asking those set of individuals, they call the parliamentarian, or they call some of them the Senate. Please, we have clearly indicated that we are asking you to leave La Republique. If you choose to stay with La Republique, then you must relinquish your identity of the Southern Cameroon and continue with La Republique. But you cannot stand and say you represent the people of Ambazonia or Southern Cameroon or West Cameroon, and at the same time when the people has denounced you. And so this is a factual information. You can take the message and act upon it, or you can take the message and put in the trash. But the time we shall come after you, you will not have the minute time to discard it. And so this message is for you. Take it, act upon it, and execute it. But if you choose to ignore it, because the time we are coming after you, then you will realize the imperative and the importance of the content of the message in which we have advocated. We have got enough of this La Republique. We have got enough. And enough is enough. Our people have suffered for the past 56 years. We should be able to determine our future destiny and have a government that represents the people and not a government that represents the self-interest of a certain group of individuals. We expect the world body to act upon it, But we have come to the conclusion that world body is nothing that we can deal with. Because if United Nations lack foresight, what are the priority of the United Nations? Priority is when you look at what are the emergency needs. Is the problem airway? Is the problem breathing? Is the problem circulations? Or is the problem dehydration? When you look at this at an emergency hospital, you will immediately understand the priority need of the people. But when I see United Nations describing their own priority, that of climatic conditions, climatic conditions has nothing to do with emergent priority because it's between the life and death. And the people of Southern Cameroon are now bleeding because of a neighbor whom they welcome at home. But our people has making a serious determination. And our determination is to move forward rapidly and ensure that our sovereignty is not compromised. We are moving forward. And so as I'm speaking, you can take the message and act upon all of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. I know that all of you have relatives that are in La Republique. They may choose to reside in La Republique, but they should not, in any circumstances, agree that they are in La Republique because they have an attachment. When I mean of an attachment, I mean they are being claimed to have been an officials like the parliamentarian, whatever you so call them, or the Senate, whatever you so call them. Those are not people that absolutely represent the voice of the voiceless. They are not actually the people that represent the people of Ambazonia. They are not actually represent any absolutely in any certainly. And so therefore, we are making clear statement. We are making clear statement. Let them know that they are on their own as they claim to link our people to La Republique. Tell them you are on your own, because as from October 1st, any individual that has not officially written and pronounced a document showing on the media that they are no longer part of La Republique, we shall go after those individuals one after another. If they haven't, we remember last time they didn't ignore. They wrote whatever they did not. They just went and said, oh, they have resigned. This is October 1st is the deadline that they must submit their document in written form and must be published in the National Gazette of the Federal Republic of Ambazonian. They must write it down, they must publish it, or they must read it, that they no longer have any relationship with the Southern Cameroon. And so any individual that hasn't done so by October 1, then the next thing is that we include them as the target enemy of the sovereignty of the people of Ambazonia. You know, we cannot in any circumstance become a slave. Why? We cannot become slaves in our own territory. And our people, our mothers, our sisters, our brothers are living in the forest. And we have an occupier in our territory, and that they have no legitimate rights. And we become the hunter, the hunters. And our people become the hunters. Fortification and prevention of migration of La Republique into our territory, especially those who claim they are military. Immediately break any link that will allow them to penetrate into our sovereignty. If there's a bridges, cut them off. We have ample time that we're going to repair everything. But when we allow them to penetrate into our sovereignty, then we allow them to graze in our territory. So break any link that will allow them, and you make sure that you prepare a backup. You make sure you prepare a backup to ensure that you surround the enemy and we trash them to the best of our knowledge. We have got enough. United Nations would have respected their own document. We don't need to shout. We don't need to call. We don't need to do anything. We simply need to let United Nations understand that our people want a total separation. We don't need United Nations to vote upon. We need them to respect their own document they have already acted upon. Fellow brothers and sisters, I am broadcasting on my Facebook and on my YouTube. So either way, you should be able to get me live. So my Facebook is media. On my Facebook, on my YouTube is called Transparency Media International. On my YouTube is called Transparency Media International. So that is what you will find on my YouTube account. So in the case you might find it difficult, but it is easy and simple. It is easy and simple. I want to take a moment to thank the people of Bafut. The people of Bafut are an exemplary. That doesn't mean that the other part are not exemplary. It is because the wishes and the wishes of the people, and they stood for those wishes. They are amplified the spirit of the people of Ambazonia. The people of Bafut is amplifying the spirit of Ambazonia. The people of Ngokutunja is amplifying the spirit of the people of Ambazonia. We stood with the people of Ngokutunja. The people of Ngokutunja, we stand in one spirit. The spirit of standing together as one people, standing shoulder to shoulder. Face those enemies that stand against us, because they have ignored the warning sign that we have indicated. But unfortunately, they think they will be romancing with us. But those individuals that have ignored the warning sign, but we are going to act upon those individuals as easy as simple. But we have asked those individuals that they should denounce their relationship with the neighboring country, La Republique, because we will not be part of La Republique. As I'm speaking here in this great state of Texas, I am here to let the fellow American citizens to understand. Our people are in distress. Our people are being brutalized. Our people are being killed by a country that we have never had any relationship. We simply ask a friendship. A friendship does not give them a legitimacy over our people. And so we will use every means to ensure that our people are safe in their home, in their environment. And that is why I am speaking here to the fellow citizens of these great nations, the United States. When the Canadians, there is a difference between the way they visualize issues affecting the rest of the world. When the Canadians, when the French-speaking Canadians choose to remain independent, it was an easy harmony that they were able to conduct an elections. They conduct elections without any discrimination. There was easy and gentleman relationship. And when it comes to the advanced world, they conduct their own policy in amicably, without any signs of discrimination. And so the French-speaking Canadian has voted twice and has never succeeded for their independence. In Great Britain, similar exercise has been conducted and they did not succeed. When the British government initially voted to join the European Union, it was a friendly and gentleman relationship. When the British voted overwhelmingly to support the European Union, but when it came to Africa, the story is different. The story is different. When the British joined the European Union, there was no single soul that was lost. When the British chose to relinquish their relationship with the European Union, no single soul was lost. Because they recognize, because they are the people of the gentlemen. But when it comes to the people of Africa, the story is different. Because Europe has an occupier, especially the French government. The French government, the occupier of Africa, thinks that they are the architects to determine the future of Africa. But the people of Southern Cameroon denounce France because we will never be part of France. Because France, cultural and egoistic over Africa, has become the terror nightmare for the influence of African history. Africa should be able to build their own nations and build it for the interest of human dignity and not for the French dignity. And that is why France is ensured that Africa remains the line of beggar in the midst of prosperity. France wants Africa with the wealth, with the mineral, with every aspect to be controlled by the French authority, whereas France is alone in their own territory. Fellow Africa, this is the moment of we must arise. This is the moment we must build Africa for the interest of Africa, not for the interest of the French government. When the United States borrow money, the money goes straight to the French treasury called Caisse Communauté Française. When United States borrow money, when foreign nations borrow money, the money does not go to that individual African country. Instead, it goes straight to the Caisse Communauté Française. And they will determine and use the same money and loan to the Africa. So Africa is paying plus interest for the first initial donor and the second initial donor. And that is why Africa remains the slavery of the world. And yet, the mineral deposit is in Africa continent. Fellow brothers and sisters, time of emancipation has come, and that we must stand together, fellow African descent. We will no longer tolerate those individuals within the African continent that choose to ignore factual information. We, our people, has been going through stress because France's influence is the cause of atrocity in Africa. You cannot imagine that a French president, Emmanuel Macron, will endorse a terrorist individual, Paul Biya of the neighboring country, La Republique, as a legitimate president. Whereas, if France did not have a democratic form of government, he himself would not have been in the same power. They would have remained in dictatorship. But however, France sees Africa as more of a husbandry, where they can graze and disrupt every aspect for the interest. And that is why they will portray African children living in a breadcrumb because of the policy instituted by the French. You cannot imagine that while we are speaking, the French authority is asking Chad. And the stupid the Chadians are, they will simply abide by the instruction of France and send military to fight in the Southern Cameroon territory. The spirit of the people of Southern Cameroon, the spirit of the people of Ambazonian, the spirit as which we have stood up. We will die till the last person is killed, because we will not allow the French influence in the Southern Cameroon. France can choose to control whatever is the aspect of La Republique. We will not be part of that La Republique, but France should not intervene in the people of Ambazonia, because we will never welcome France in our Ambazonian territory. Our people should determine what is best for the people and not what is best for the French citizens. We love our people, we love our dignity. We respect the rule of law. We respect the government that is accountable. We don't respect the rebel government that stands against the will of the people. We will never compromise. So if France is interested, let's pay his concentration on the La Republique. In La Republique jail, our citizens is the highest population in La Republique jail. Our citizens, the fellow brothers and sisters, I am here to announce to you that the population of the La Republique jail is made up of Southern Cameroon. But La Republique has no legal authority to try and prosecute the people of Southern Cameroon in any circumstances. La Republique has no legal authority to try and prosecute the people of Southern Cameroon in La Republique dungeon, but the population of political prisoners are the people of Southern Cameroon in a neighboring country that lack legitimacy. And yet the world stands to accept. And you have someone at the age of 6 years that is suffering from mental challenges. Some people call bipolar disorder. Some people call depressive disorder. Whatever you choose the word that fits you to describe, that is the current president of La Republique. He cannot in a single open a length of discussion at the moment. Pobia is suffering from psychosis. That's the thing that the world is ignoring and they don't want to accept the reality. Pobia is suffering from psychosis, mental disability. Pobia is suffering from psychosis with mental disability. He lacks manner. That is why he can't even stood up and make a statement. That is someone they claim he's running for president. He's running for president suffering from mental psychosis with effective disability. But yet, he is running for president. Because we have France under the ambassador, under the current president of France, is guiding because Africa is the husbandry of the French regime. But fellow brothers of Ambazonia, we are moving forward with our sovereignty. We are moving forward. We are moving forward. Fellow brothers, we have declared that any effigy that represents La Republique in our territory should be discarded. When you have places like the Congress Hall, that they have the audacity to carry on meeting in our territory, please, that need to be dismantled out of the Southern Cameroon territory. The Congress, what they call the CPDM, that need to be dismantled from the Southern Cameroon territory, because that is where they use as a venue that they claim, and those individuals that is persuading La Republique that we are together. But I am here to let you know that the spirit of the people has risen, and that we must discard any attachment that has a linkage of La Republique in our territory. The Maison CPDM Hall needs to be erased in Southern Cameroon territory. The CPDM, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We have reached a moment that the pain and the suffering has reached the worst climate. We have reached the point of pain and climate. The pain and suffering has reached the worst climate. And this is the moment that the people must stand. That hall they call the Congress Hall, that need to be erased in the face of this, because that is where these individuals whom we will begin to eradicate in our territory. Because if the people of Southern Cameroon in the Enugu House of Assembly voted for benevolent neutrality and left the Enugu House of Assembly, then the current individuals that is currently persuaded in La Republique should sign the same benevolent neutrality. And once they sign the same benevolent neutrality and leave La Republique, then we should be able to prepare ourselves for building a new nation for our own. But since they choose to not to relinquish their identity, then they become enemy of us as from October 1st, as we celebrate the birth of our nations. We have been the past 56 years not celebrating it, but this time we will be celebrating the birth of our nation with grand style and dignity. Fellow brothers and sisters, the Congress Hall of La Republique that is built by La Republique need to be eradicated and erased from the territory. And that this is the moment that we have decided, and that any effigy of La Republique in Southern Cameroon need to be completely eradicated. Need to be completely eradicated. It is time. Time is not on the essence. Time is not on the essence. Our people deserve something better. Our people deserve something better. We have got enough of La Republique, and we must relinquish the relationship that has been attached to us for the past 56 years. And so those individuals that they choose to ignore the warning sign, but we are going to go after those individuals comes October 1st. Because we have asked them, we have plain statement, we have verbally advocate, relinquish your identity with La Republique. If you are a senator, if you are an administrator, if you are a divisional officer, we are going after those individuals. You are military, we are going after those individuals. But ordinary citizens and those stand as the black legs, you are one. I know there are certain Southern Cameroons that they have retired and they choose to stand as the spy. Then I have a good news for you, that you will leave and go to La Republique. If you are the spy, then you go to La Republique and stood with La Republique. But if you are in Southern Cameroon, you must act within the confinement of the people of Ambazonian. I was speaking, I met with one gentleman. He happened to have served in La Republique. He says he has served in La Republique for 30 years. And today, I was speaking, this is a story. This is a story that is not new. This is a story that happened to our fellow brothers that have served in La Republique for 30 years in the military. He was serving in La Republique with his love. He was serving in La Republique with gentleness. He was serving La Republique, he believed he was part of a nation. But when the African Cup of Nations was won, they stood up and they were jubilating. They were jubilating because they have won a World Cup, won African Nation Cup. As they were jubilating with their fellow comrade, and one approached him and asked him, why is he jubilating? He said, well, he's jubilating because they have won a cup. And that is why he was jubilating. Guess what happened? And that Francophone military, I've seen, he is a Biafran serving in La Republique. He is a Biafran serving in La Republique. He said, what did you say? He said, you are a Nigerian serving in La Republique. And it was a painful feeling that he carried on till his retirement. Imagine you are serving a nation that you believe you are part of, and they are describing in deeply, they recognize you as a foreign entity. But this is a moment that I can assure you that your retirement, your pain feeling will end, because the people of Southern Cameroon will stand with you. The people of Southern Cameroon has risen, and that the pain feeling that you have had over the period of 30 years serving La Republique, our people has risen, and that the whole in Bamenda, called whatever they call it, it needs to be eradicated. We need to eradicate any effigy of La Republique in Southern Cameroon territory, because that is where we can move forward. October 1st, we've asked all those serving in La Republique, and they believe they are part of Southern Cameroon. I have asked you, please relinquish your identity, because we have come to the moment that we will not consolidate anymore. And I want to take a moment to thank all of you, because fellow United States, it is a painful feeling that we have got too long. Our people has been going through suffering. We were a separate nations. We were voted, including United States. United States government voted in 1961, recognized our identity, but we have never materialized. But we have gone through suffering and painful feeling. So I am here to present this case to the fellow citizens of this great nation, that our people is moving forward with the sovereignty. And any individuals that stood with La Republique, we are firmly with our goal and with our objectives. Fellow brothers and sisters, October 1 is coming. We will be celebrating it here in Dallas. We will be celebrated amicably, and we will be celebrated elsewhere with our brothers around the world. Fellow brothers in Ground Zero, we are together in this business. Our independence will never be compromised. Fellow brothers and sisters of Ground Zero, we stood together for the common good of the people of Southern Cameroon, now the Federal Republic of Ambazonian. We understand the painful feeling, but if we stand together for the firm, we will realize our people to have a better place, a better society, a society that is full of the admiration of the wishes of all people of Ambazonia. We will not, in any circumstances, stood and see how our people are being slaughtered by the evil of La Republique. We were never a colonial territory of La Republique. We were never being persuaded. But we have come to the conclusion that we must leave alone. We must let go La Republique. We must let go, because a let go is the time we can be able to evaluate what is good for our people, what is good for Ambazonia, what is good for self-determinations. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that have been watching, and I wish you all the best and happy day. It was Funton Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in this wonderful, amazing nation on earth, the United States. God love you. I love you too. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.